Signature gathering shenanigans in Illinois 4. The Board of Elections kicks off the ballot 2 Latino candidates, easing the road ahead for Congressman Chuy Garcia's preferred successor, Patty Garcia. Tonight, Patty Garcia gets to the point.
From Chicago's very own, with WGN political editor Tahman Bradley, this is The Point.
Good evening. Voters in Illinois' 4th Congressional District will have fewer options in the November election. After a week-long legal battle, Mayra Macias and Byron Cicho Lopez were told today they did not have enough signatures to remain on the ballot. Both were trying to compete as independents after an old-school maneuver by outgoing incumbent Jesus Chuy Garcia. Garcia waited until the filing deadline day to announce he would not seek re-election. That allowed his chief of staff, Patty Garcia, to become the only Democrat to submit petitions. Macias and Cicho Lopez say political operatives tied to Garcia's camp led the charge to get them removed.
Today in the 4th Congressional District, democracy died at the hands of Patty and Chuy Garcia.
It is a sad day when over 30,000 voters, their voices are silenced, their signatures invalidated. This board is supposed to be upholding democracy, and yet we're seeing their very actions subverting it.
Board of Elections officials say their hands were tied. They were just following the law. Cicho Lopez and Macias are still considering next steps. They acknowledge it will be difficult to Democrats in charge at the State House to make meaningful changes to ballot access in the future.
Under the guise of democracy, folks are really trying to gatekeep who has access so that by the time a candidate gets to the ballot box, the choice has already been made. And so I don't think it behooves people who have benefited from the system to open it up, because that they then put themselves at risk for challenges. And in a true democracy, we invite challenges because competition makes us stronger.
The competition in the 4th Congressional District is now down to 4 candidates. Christopher Getty, the mayor of Lyons, made it as an independent. Lupe Castillo is the Republican. Ed Hershier represents the Working Class Party. And Patty Garcia is the Democratic nominee in the deep blue Latino-heavy district. Patty Garcia joins us now on The Point. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
This was old school. You filed your papers on the deadline day. The congressman announced his retirement. There was no chance for anyone else to be the Democratic nominee. Why was this okay?
Every year that he's run for office, he's had challengers. He's primary challengers as well. So we assumed other folks would be jumping in the race as they've done in prior years.
Congressman Garcia was reprimanded by his colleagues. Do you have any regrets?
You know, the one thing that I think about often is I wish I would have had more time, right? I've been able to work with candidates over 15 years who have had years, months to prepare for a plan. And for me, I had less than 24 hours to make a decision, inform my family, the closest to me, inform my staff, and then quit my job without any savings, without health care, and decide that, you know, this is what we were going to do, run for office, gratefully with the support of the community members, but I wish I would have had more time.
When did you learn that the congressman was retiring?
That Friday, that last day before the weekend, before filing deadline.
So we could put a little bit of this on him. I just wonder, because Cicho Lopez and Macias both blame you and the congressman for them not making the ballot. How do you respond?
Look, there's state laws that have to be followed. Every candidate has to follow. There's a threshold that has to be met. Every candidate, including our campaign, had to submit signatures. We've had a series of independents file. 2 out of the 3, the board ruled that didn't meet the requirement of the state and thereby the law. And ultimately, what these petitions show, what your application essentially shows, is not only are you meeting the law, but this is a community that has my back. This is a community that has my support. And what we learned today was that the board ruled that they did not meet the requirement and they do not have the backing of the community.
Sandra Mendez, Renee Munoz, Jeremy Rivera are the people who objected to Cicho Lopez and Macias. Are they working for you?
They're not working for me. These are volunteers, people that have worked in helping us get signatures on the doors for years. You know, some of those folks for 2-3 generations now. The reality is everyone has the right to challenge a candidate, right? I could have been challenged at any point. Anyone can challenge at any point. President Obama challenged, right, before his big Senate win. these are the rights that are for constituents, for voters to say, hold before this person makes it to the next step. I want to make sure that they have the right signatures.
But in this instance, you needed fewer signatures than they did, right? Like there's value in being the party nominee. 697 is how many you needed. Independent candidates needed 10,816. Should Illinois change the state law?
Look, I leave that to the General Assembly. I followed the law. We were supposed to collect 700. We collected almost 4 times as much, 2,500 signatures in just under 2 days because we had a short window.
Macias says you and the congressman are turning off women voters. You're disenfranchising people. What do you say to folks who just feel bad about all of this?
Look, the congressman has spent an entire lifetime, and I've spent my entire lifetime helping elect more women to office. The first-time judges, first-time people to the school board, people to the county, Latinas in Congress, right? That's the legacy that we've left our community and the legacy that I continue to build on, helping ensure that we have diversity. And it was evident by the primary, seeing so many people, so many volunteers coming out. And that's the type of campaign that I will continue to run, one that's inclusive of a lot of first-time people, but also a lot of women and people from underrepresented backgrounds.
Christopher Getty's signatures were not challenged. Do you not see him as a threat?
My understanding is that he had valid signatures, right? That he had enough signatures to meet the threshold of the state. For me, I'm focused on our campaign and to be able to demonstrate to people that I'm the candidate that will stand up to ICE, that I'm the candidate that will stand up against the genocide in Gaza, and making sure that we meet the affordability crisis. I can't say that for my opponents.
Christopher Getty will be on the ballot. Lupe Castillo's the Republican, Ed Hersher from the Working Class Party. So why you and not them?
I've said it before and I'll say it again, right? Our campaign and me and individually as a candidate, I've been out for the last 7 years as a district director and chief of staff. I haven't been behind a desk. I've been rolling up my sleeves and out there with the community when ICE has been in our community since the first Trump administration, not just this past year, not the past 6 months, but for the past 7 years, helping ensure that people and families are together, that we get people out of detention centers, that we fight against this Trump machine, the deportation machine that they've created, and ensuring that taxpayer dollars don't go for more wars. We've been very vocal against not only the war against Iran, but the war in Gaza, and ensuring that we're not using taxpayer money to enable the genocide of innocent people. And so that's who I am. I've been pro-reproductive rights, pro-LGBTQ plus rights, right? Making sure that we're thinking about the future of our country and creating an inclusive democracy. That's what I've done, and that's what sets me apart from my other opponents who are very extreme, and we want to make sure that this district stays in the hands of a progressive Democrat.
There's a battle in your party over sort of Israel and the U.S. support for Israel. How far will you go with that? What's your position on Block the Bombs, for example? I
am a supporter of Block the Bombs, and I am happy to say that I've got the endorsement of Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. And from day one, I've told her... Should there be no more aid without preconditions? No, and I applaud the efforts of the Democrats that voted against aid for Israel. We need to stop that aid. It cannot be unconditional aid, and we need to make sure that our taxpayer monies are not going out there to kill and bomb babies. You worked with Congressman Garcia, of course, for a long time. You're not related. We should point out. How will you be different? I think where I said a little bit of difference, right, is I do want to be a little bit more intentional about the work around education. My passion is education, civic education, but also education and labor education and workforce, making sure that we're thinking about the jobs of the future and doubling down on public education and public schools. I think there's a huge fight right now at the federal level, and we're seeing it play out here in Chicago with the school board elections as well. There's a fight to privatize education, and we need to make sure that we protect public schools and public education, because that's the fundamental kind of democracy that helps fuel and inspire the next generation to be involved. So for me, that's one of the areas that I really will be focused on a little bit more on the education sector. This whole thing left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. How do you, Macias and Cicho Lopez, put this thing back together? You all play for the same team. If you win, they may come for you in a couple of years here. Your congressional colleagues, if you win, might say, well, we reprimanded her boss who set her up to just sort of have this seat. How do you make good? How do you repair all of this? Look, I'll start with where we're at now. Right now, we have secured over 140 endorsements from labor, community organizations, community leaders, elected officials from across the district. I've also secured the endorsement of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, which is the largest caucus in DC. I hope to continue to work with these folks that I've already demonstrated, right, through my work in the last 8 years with them, who I am and my values. My hope is that with some of these opponents that might be unhappy is to bring them to our campaign and ensure that we can get to November, not only win our election, but take back the House. That should be the focus right now. While kids, are being bombed in Gaza, while people don't have food to put on the table or debating around should I pay for rent or my prescriptions, they need a Democratic Party that's united. They need a Democratic Party that's not fighting. They need a Democratic Party that's laser focused on taking back not only the House, the Senate, but also the White House.
Patty Garcia, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you.
We're back in 60 seconds. Tonight, we tip our hat to 3 U.S. senators, 2 of them Republicans, 1 a Democrat, hosting a podcast episode. Katie Britt of Alabama, John Husted of Ohio, and Mark Warner of Virginia are working together to pass a bill called Sammy's Law. It would require social media platforms to permit parents to receive a safety alert if their children are engaged in dangerous interactions, a nod to bipartisanship. And that is The Point. I'm Tahman Bradley. There's more news tonight at 9 o'clock. The Forecasters is up next on WGN+. Good night.